To the Spider Queen, Meta Madness. So, off we go with Nameless Kings going up against Rozpierdol, so the Polish team in blue this time. And this should be a fun one. The round robin still continues. We have 7 teams that go in a round robin off against each other, trying to determine not only who gets into the playoffs, but also what the early playoff rounds look like for those teams. If you place in the top 2, for example, you're going to skip a round in the double elimination bracket in the playoffs. So making sure that you put a little bit of effort into this is definitely worth it. Now, obviously, with Meta Madness, we have 2 rules trying to push teams a little bit out of their comfort zone. First of all, we have bans for the entire event. So down here, you have the global bans as they currently stand. And in addition to that, every single hero can only be played once within a series, which means that as we move from game to game, the hero pool is more and more limited, and people have to really think a little bit about, hey, what can we actually now put together in order to have a proper draft here. Currently, we are playing matches that all consist of 3 maps. Each map represents a point, and as we're heading into the playoffs, we have a double elimination bracket with best of 5 matches. And it's getting spicy here. Cho'Gall already banned out. There have been a few Cho'Gall attempts already, but a few of the teams are a bit infamous for playing Cho'Gall occasionally. So someone like the Kings, they don't want to deal with that at all and just ban that out immediately. But yeah, should be an interesting one. Obviously, we have also the occasional sub coming in if one of the players isn't able to play at the determined time. Just as a little bit of a side note here, we had that in the previous matches and also in this one. RAGNAROS as a first pick right now for the Kings. And this match is actually fairly important because right now, if Rozpierdol takes it with enough points, they would take the #1 spot on the leaderboard. So there's still a huge battle going on between 4 to 5 teams who is ending up in the pole position here. And the Nameless Kings, while they have performed really well, they're still up against a tough opponent and have to prove themselves here now. The tournament itself features 2,000 euros in prize money. Prize pool this time put up by myself as we're going into my Spider Queen. And while we're talking about this, big shout out also to everybody that supports the channel on Patreon. I said it before, and I say it again, without the Patreon support, events like Meta Madness, for example, would be not possible. That couldn't be a thing. So thanks a lot for everybody that is a supporter over there. If you want to become a supporter, there should be a link in the description of the video, or you can simply go to patreon.com/Khaldor. Double Orc, Gul'dan taken as well for the Kings, and we got Maiev now with Deckard Cain to start things off for Rozpierdol. The Maiev pick is actually pretty smart. I mean, a lot of those are heavily contested usually as the game progresses. So if you can get yourself one of those picks early on, that's always kind of nice. But let's see what the last few bans are. It's Tomb of the Spider Queen, so you're of course interested in wave clear. This is where Gul'dan is going to play the biggest role for the Kings. But just generally speaking, a lot of the typical choices that you would have in a series like this are obviously already eliminated. I mean, you look just at the global bans and you see Blaze gone, you see Johanna gone, there is no Junkrat, no Hanzo, and those are all typical choices for a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen and others of course too, but that means that you already have to think a little bit about, okay, what do we do for wave clear? Do we approach the game completely differently? We had an Asmodan pick on this map just the other day, so there's a lot going on there. Stitch is banned, so they don't want to deal with the randomness of these hooks coming out, and then Maiev following up with an easy tether. Deckard Cain could of course lock the target down even further, so there is quite a lot of shenanigans with a good Stitches player that you can pull off. But since this is game #1, there's still a lot available at the front line, even with Mirrodin and Tyrael banned. So they got a lot here. Tracer also eliminated, Diablo, Leo, Deckard Cain. We're basically going for a full Diablo universe setup. Just Maiev not quite in line with that idea. But we got the triple there at the front. So yeah, at least those two should have a bit of extra synergy. But the last 2 picks, we got, Zarya. Zarya RAGNAROS. Makes perfect sense, of course, if you're looking for that speed RAGNAROS. But it's something that we haven't seen in quite some time. So we get Zarya, RAGNAROS, and Malthael at the front. So this should get interesting. Gul'dan, the only real range damage dealer. Zarya obviously can also from mid-range do a lot of damage, but still, that's going to be an interesting one for sure. RAGNAROS is going to have an easier time after level 4 to run into the opponent's team and try and get a connect. That brings us to Tassadar as the final pick. So a lot of extra walls being built for Diablo to get stuns into. Well, with that, we're heading into map #1, everybody. So, the Nameless Kings going up against Rozpierdol as we're going straight for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Rospedol in blue on the left of map number 1 with Machko on Diablo. We got Bronek on Tacita. Lavekal is playing... Well, sorry, Bronek on Deckard Cain. Lavekal is playing Tacita with Static Charge on level 1 for the blue team. Arion on Maiev and Itrax with Leoric. Oh, on the right side of the map, it's the Kings in red with Scorch on Malfurion. Murenas on Zarya. This is where it's going to get interesting. We haven't seen her a whole lot in this tournament yet. Actually, it's the first time that she's being drafted in Meta Madness number 9. We got Lopaka on Garrosh, Ubi on Malthael, and then Miriale is playing Pursuit of Flame with Gul'dan going into a Fellflame build over here. So, who's going to take map number 1? Again, this is a battle for the top, essentially. If the Kings take this and win at a minimum 2 of the maps, maybe even 3, then we will see them push into the top spot and establish themselves there. But Rospedol has a shot of ending up there too, if they are able to take the series. But Machko gets murdered. Diablo caught at the start and immediately eliminated, so he's already gone. And with first blood being achieved by the Kings, they start to focus straight up on their camp. Same happening on the left side as well. Level 1 Static Charge also going into the Resonance Beam with this here, so we'll see how much the Tacita can do. But the most beautiful thing about Tacita is just generally that you can get all of these walls into the game. Leo later on with an Entomb can provide a few more, and then Diablo can stun targets into them. So if you play that combo between the two well, then you can really destroy an opponent's team very nicely. Just section them off with these walls, Diablo gets the additional stuns out, and you tee up your damage dealers for a quick kill. Diablo, on the other hand, again, flipped into the root over here in tower range to make matters worse. But Machko is able to push out, thankfully for him. Well, that could have been the second death of the Lord of Terror. But yeah, so far he's at least in this situation able to stay alive, so not really a big problem. Leo down at the bottom of the map dealing with the Siege Giants that the red team was able to snack up as well. Ubi, we're going to keep our eye on him. There's actually a really nice synergy that he has with his mount. The entire tint of the mount and also the hero itself works extremely well. So Ubi definitely with a couple of bonus points here. Gets pretty heavily hit though by this, but Leoric is already moving out. Ubi might have to retreat too. And it's going to get interesting once that he's able to get his level 10 ability in to see, okay, how much is he going to do here. But yeah, look at this. Really, really nice tint synergy that we have over there. And comes straight back into the battle as the level 4 talents have kicked in. That gives us the speed barrier for Zarya. So Garrosh has now a much, much easier time. And this whole combo with Zarya, Garrosh and Malfurion should work fairly well for them. Scorch just setting the roots up, and then Garrosh can throw anybody into them. They can start to hit them, and we'll actually see how this is going to work out for them. But yeah, so for now we got Itrax down at the bottom of the map, still getting a couple of extra gems together, hoping of course to also turn in first. 16 have already been delivered by the red team. They're slightly ahead on this. We're now 3 minutes into the game, only 1 kill, and ever since then the red team attempting to control the turn-in points and get themselves the first set of web weavers. So on level, oh, Diablo already making the engage, but Scorch on Malfurion is just absolutely brutal, of course, so he's going to be pretty big there. They get the kill on Zarya on the other hand, so nicely done. Also Maiev present and ready with a tether, but that's a counter kill now against the Nameless Kings. As we have Malfurion still not only trying to heal everybody out, but also blocking Diablo time and time again with a good root. There's again the wall. They're trying to block Lopaka, and lots of damage on Garrosh, but he might get out of here. Has to be careful with Deckard Cain now also trying to block him, but they turn it on Maiev, and it's a kill against the blue team. Yeah, well done. Nice back and forth between the two teams right now. And Lavekal, ooh, gets also killed. The walls from Tacita and Diablo coming in with the next hit. Machko, nice! Flipping them on the other side, but Ubi is being assisted by Malfurion. And honestly, that route right there that stopped all of them, that was actually a really sweet move that most likely saved Malthael in that situation. So they are about to complete their turn-in, but that was well done. Really cool move by Machko, of course, too, to get the target over the wall. But then a nice save to make sure that they are able to walk away from this. So down at the bottom of the map, Morenas against Itrax, a little bit of a drain happening early on. Just a bit of HP gone right away, but the Web Weavers are now starting to travel onto the lanes. And this is where the blue team has to set up their full defense. But they could lose Maiev here. Maiev with the Vault of the Wardens tries to jump out, is able to escape. But there's always Lopaka with another aggressive play, trying to isolate one of the blue team's heroes and allow the team to get the quick kill. In the mid lane, lots of pressure already accumulating, with especially Gul'dan just pushing hard here. And they're taking the entire wall out as Tassadar defends the top and Leoric the bot lane. 3 kills to 1 still. Tether into Deckard Cain. First Web Weaver is already gone, and at the top Tassadar has nearly dealt with this one. But Garrosh is now rushing in again, but he's not finding a target this time. Maiev is also still around, is totally willing to go toe-to-toe with Garrosh in these situations. Was a really good defense, by the way. Only a couple of towers and gates lost to the blue team. Everything else still totally fine here. We got Lopaka now pushing in as well. 3 kills to 1 down at the bottom of the map with 20 gems in his hands. Itrax could try and get his own team a bit closer to their first Web Weaver wave. They still have 54 that they can deliver here. So they're trailing already slightly in gems. They lost a few when they were losing their heroes previously. But there are still a couple of opportunities that they could definitely use, and we'll see if they're able to pull that off. Another quick drain coming. Itrax still has to be careful. With this many gems in the hands of Leoric and Diablo, if one of them dies, it would be a bit of a disaster. So with Garrosh making those plays, you gotta be careful. And level 10 abilities will be ready for both of the teams in just a few seconds. So that's the big problem here. Level 10 kicks in, last rites now of course available. We get the black hole from Tassadar. The disc is missing. Machko is low, gets away, and the rest of the team is also retreating. Nobody dying here. But the last rites from Malthael nearly led to a kill. He didn't get the stack. Threw it out maybe a bit too early, but there are still tons of opportunities right now, and blue team in particular has a lot of cooldowns still available that they could attempt to use here. So the walls from Tassadar are consistently being set up, and Diablo is looking for good opportunities to dash in. In this case at least, did not go for Garrosh, didn't want to get flipped a bit farther in. But we have the tag team at the bottom of the map going for the siege giants, and the blue team is able to claim them. So a bit of extra damage against those structures is at least possible. They haven't lost any more gems, but they really need to work to turn a few in, because they have now 77 gems in their hands. They really need to get to a point where they can get their own Web Weaver wave. And a beautiful, beautiful isolation of Garrosh. Garrosh gone, and they try the follow-up. The disc on Malfurion as they go for Morenas first. Zarya is gone. And the Horrify might just save Malfurion, but that battle isn't over. The tether is there, the root on the ground. Instead, they're focusing on Malthael. They want Ubi, and they get him. Malthael eliminated. That's a triple kill right there. And Rospiadol with the opportunity to turn in and potentially push down these walls even before they have the Web Weavers in play. So that was glorious for them. They got 3 kills, and they were exceptionally well prepared too. And now the chance again to make the big move. Arian on the other hand gets flipped, waits for the cooldown, able to get out. Lopaka there gets disc, and that allows Maiev to get back to safety. Lots of aggression from the Nameless Kings as they are trying to defend early. Gul'dan has to travel to the top lane though in order to deal with it. Leo down at the bottom of the map up against Malthael as you would expect. They need to take that gate down at least, so that Garrosh can't be that aggressive anymore. And it's already gone, with the towers falling shortly after. So here's the opportunity once again for Rospiadol. They are about to hit level 13 talents as well. It would be an advantage for them in that fight that is surely to come, already breaking out in the mid lane. Top side defended by Gul'dan as he moves down towards the middle. 2 seconds for Horrify to be available again. Web Weaver about to be destroyed here too. Leo missing the Entomb. They get the disc out and the entire team is on the run, with Ubi still attempting to chase and hoping for a last right connects that he just can't afford right now. Everybody on too many hit points. So yeah, unfortunately for them, not as much achieved in that situation as they probably were hoping for. Machko attacked again. They're trying to go for Lopaka as well. And Garrosh is just straight up on Deckard Cain. There is the ult from Tassadar, and followed shortly after by Diablo's Lightning Breath. Oh, Total craziness all of a sudden. Last right's already used. Leo the first one to fall. They're trying to get the kill in, and especially Tacita is getting tons of damage out here, but has to be careful that he doesn't get killed as well. No stack yet for Malthael either. Scourge is somehow able to get out of the fight, and instead it's Maiev that falls. Malfurion was so close to dying, but escaped, and now Diablo gets hit hard by Zarya, who locks in 2 kills in a row. Beautiful coordination by the Kings here in this fight. That was a massively scrappy play at times, but it worked out for them. And they were able to keep everybody in here. Now the Entomb again dodged Itrax with another drain. Machko attack. Diablo wants him. And they just can't get this kill. Insane. They're getting so close to lock these kills in, but they're somehow just not able to get the last few attacks coordinated. We have now a slight lead in experience again for the Kings. And it just shows once again how close this series is. From start to finish here. Back and forth action as we now have the next Web Weaver on the ground. The second objective for the red team. 41,000 damage for Gul'dan. 36,000 for Malthael. And on the other side we have Tacita with the top damage sitting at 30k. Fort in the middle. It's going to fall. They will get it this time. They're pushing in super aggressively. They have the lead in kills too. Diablo attacked, rooted, and has to retreat. But that also means that they can't defend here. So, 1 fort gone. Top fort dropping low. Top fort really dropping low now. And down at the bottom of the map, Ubia has already done some damage. They're trying to go for Maiev as she starts to rotate in, gets rooted. Where's that last rights when you need it? Right now, the perfect opportunity. Not throwing it out, they get the kill anyways. But no stack for Malthael as a result. So, with this, we have the camp cleared. Stolen away by the Kings. And then the push for the fort at the bottom of the map, which is going to be the second major structure of the game that gets taken out. So yeah, no problem for them here. They are getting all of that with ease as we have more gems potentially delivered from the blue team. Now, they are behind in gems pretty significantly. They lost essentially an entire turn in already. So when it comes to the amount of gems that are still controlled and that have over the course of the game being collected, the Nameless Kings are massively ahead. They are just way better on the objective. They lost less. They turned in more. Now we're seeing the play for Lopaka. Might be a bit of a problem. Full on body checks. And Lopaka goes down. Deckard Kane. He's gonna get eliminated. The kill against him, the first last right stack also for Malthael, but Maiev came through and picked down Zarya. Now they're going for Ubi. They want Malthael. They lose Leo. Malthael still alive and kicking. Absolutely brutal, especially Scorch on Malfurion. Just ripping them a new one. They're getting kill after kill here with a Horrify from Gul'dan, also isolating Tacita. And the Kings are gaining momentum here. 11 kills, 2-6, 4 heroes down in total. The last fort on the blue team side has now been destroyed. And just now we have enough gems for the Kings to get a full-on turn-in if they wanted. They could try and for boss. They could go for the turn-in. They have really all the options. But that last battle was perfect. Especially Malfurion. I mean, damn, him keeping over and over Malthael alive and allowing him to obviously do his own thing with his own sustain. That was pretty impressive. If the blue team gets that one kill, it might just flip the other direction, but that never happened. So now the big opportunity to maybe even go for a keep. Diablo in trouble. 36 gems, and bye-bye, he's gone. That's the end of Diablo. That's 36 gems down the drain. And honestly, that was more or less the ticket back into the game for Rospedol. So them losing all of this as we speak is a problem. Diablo was at least stacked, so he's back for the defense. But this push at the bottom of the map is still going to be rough to deal with. 55,000 damage from Gul'dan. And Malthael is actually nibbling at his heels. At 54,000 damage himself, he could very well take over the top damage slot. We have him with only a few seconds of cooldown reduction, in total 10, but the keep at the bot lane indeed has fallen. Malthael has still pushed the top a bit further. All of the gates and most of the walls are now gone. 12 kills to 6, and we're on level 19. Malthael gets chased. They might be able to get the kill here. Lightning Breath committed to, and they gotta retreat as the flank is coming. Even that hard chase at the top didn't net them another kill. So Malthael still looking strong here. Catapults at the core, but Minion Wave is going to take that out easily. The problem is that the map belongs to the Kings. They hold control of pretty much everything here. Lopaka with a great game was only killed a couple of times with all of the isolation plays that are possible by Rospedol. That's actually a huge feat. Itrax with 40 gems is the next target. It's basically all the gems that are still in the hands of Rospedol. He might fall, but there's still plenty of others around. They need counter kills though, and they're not getting them. Leo is gone, Diablo is gone. This might just be the beginning of the end as they're turning on Bronek. Bye-bye, Deckard Cain. He's eliminated too, and that leaves the blue team with only 2 defenders. Even if they don't go for the core right away, they can now either move in to drop the keep, or they can go for the boss at the top and do it that way. Whatever they decide to do, there's lots of options, and they still have a 30-second window in which they can accomplish all of that. So, boss it is. We're now 15 minutes into the game, and a quick move towards the top is already showing clearly what they're planning to do here. It should take down the keep at the top. They don't have enough gems for a turn-in that they can sync up with this push, but they have a level 20 talent, which is obviously huge for them now too. Unyielding defender, we got the Lunar Shower, and the opportunity now to break through the top, take another keep down, and pin Rospedol down a little bit further. It's going to be a tough defense for the blue team. The Polish team is having some troubles. They took one camp, so that was one of the plays that we were aiming for. Get at least the camp going. But what else are they able to pull off? Can they defend this a bit longer? I don't think they can hold the key, but they might be able to hold the core and try to get to level 20 talents themselves. It will be tricky though. I mean, the boss already wailing away. It's 16 minutes in. We're not that deep, and it honestly looks like the red team is just looking for kill opportunities. They know that if they get kills right now, they would be in a great spot here. And they actually go for Tassadar. Tassadar's the top damage dealer for Rospedol. Once that he's gone, that's most of the damage eliminated. So he gets dropped quickly. They're pushing for Arian. Maiev falls. Diablo is in trouble and is dead as well. 4 stacks in total for Malthael. That means a 20-second cooldown reduction. I don't think it's going to matter in this game any longer. But if it would continue, then he can YOLO those ults out much more reliably in those teamfights now. The Kings with the first victory here in the series. Rospedol loses on Tomb of the Spider Queen as the red team takes the W. Nicely done. GG and well played. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Map number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. The Kings with a great showing on the first map, so they take the first point. As we're heading into the second game, this also means that 10 heroes are now banned out because they were played, so they can't be played again. We have the global bans right down there. Those won't appear in the tournament at all. But the hero pool will get limited a bit. Now that we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity, you can also immediately think a bit about, hey, what's actually available as typical damage for BOE? And most of them are gone. You still have access to Li Ming, so she could be taken. You have Jimmy with Exterminator. That could be a good option, of course, too, for the single target damage. Suljin, if you want to go into a different auto attacker. We have Cassia still around. Lunara was picked occasionally. And when we're talking about some side lane damage, then of course, occasionally you would still see Artanis appear here. Since with all these side laners already eliminated, even Artanis is starting to look good at some point. Yeah, it's just what it is. If everybody else is eliminated, that's what we're talking about. So we could see him here again. But I still think that even in the context of Meta Madness, Artanis win rate so far is, if I'm not mistaken, 0. I have to actually look at the stats, but just the games that I remember, I don't think he won a single one of those. Li Ming, locked in by Rospedol as a first pick. But my money would be on Jimmy or maybe even Suljin making an appearance. Usually it's Jimmy that gets taken. The interesting part is that Jimmy actually not automatically gets played with Exterminator if he gets picked, because a lot of those guys will go into stacks instead, just banking on the fact that on Battlefield of Eternity you typically have a lot of skirmishers in the middle of the map where you just can weave in those auto attacks reliably, and you will end up with a decent amount of stacks as the game continues. They are starting things off with Cassia on the red team's side on the other hand, so Cassia first for them. The continuous ban against Cho'Gall is still making me a bit sad. But we have plenty of other stuff still around. And nice, we get Ana. Ana plus Varian. Okay, so we get a sniper comp. Taunt into nano-boosted Li Ming damage with reset opportunities as she unleashes her combo onto the target. So, yeah, they already have clearly signaled what their plan is going to be as the game continues here. Yrel can try and push this back all she wants, but it is going to be a game where Rospiedol is hunting for targets and wants to kill heroes, for sure. So that's what the rest of the draft should reflect as well. Chen gets banned. Yeah, Chen can be a little bit annoying on the side lane, given all of the other heroes that are already gone. And with Chen, you can, of course, with a decent keck, come in and just push everybody away and make a little bit more space for the attack that you want to unleash against a single specific target. So if you can keep the opponent's healer, for example, away, that's always a huge win. Arthur's also banned out. And it's kind of cool that with the pre-bans that we have, you have immediately in-game number 2 already a lot of bans and picks where you'd normally be like, nah, I'm not so sure. But seeing Arthur's banned, seeing Chen banned, sometimes it happens as a preference ban against the opponent, but not that often. We get Uther and we get Thrall. Yeah, so very likely a triple frontline. Lopaka will go for the main tank, and then we have a triple frontline with Cassia as the only range damage from the looks of it. They could swap things around a little bit, of course, and play Uther as the main tank and then give a second healer over to Scourge. So if they would like to go down that path, it's theoretically at least possible, not that I really expected. There's Jimmy, as expected, so we still get him for that single target damage. Just a question of what he's going to choose as his level 1 talent. And we get Imperius on the side lane, so another stun that they can add after Varian connected and got his taunt through. Now Ana can, of course, set these chains up as well with the sleep dart. And that's something that would... there's a lot of tools here that can make the gameplay of the Nameless Kings quite the ordeal. So game number 2, we'll see if Rospiedol is able to get a point for themselves here for the leaderboard. But here comes Tyrande, the second support. So we get Uther as the main tank, Tyrande as the second support. They go for the extra sustain and the extra damage against the Immortal, of course, with the Hunter's Mark of Tyrande. But yeah, that sets us up. Map number 2, everybody. Battlefield of Eternity. The blue team on the left with Machko on Varian, going for Lion's Maw as his level 1 talent. Bronek is playing Ana. We have Labekal on Li Ming. Itrax on Imperius. And as already explained, we are not seeing Exterminator. We have Arian on Reyna playing with Veteran Marksman as his level 1 choice, which is exactly what I went over during the draft. So another example of this happening here. As on the right side of the map, we have Lopaka on Uther. Uther as a main tank currently, with Miriala on Cassia going for Thunderstroke, so we got some stacks coming in. Morena's on Thrall, Ubi with Yrel, and then Scourge with Tyrande. The real main support for them here. As at the bottom of the map, they're setting up with 3. Thrall will eventually move down. Right now, we have Yrel at the top alone. And Thrall could have theoretically gone for another choice, decided not to, so Trash Lightning was an option, at least theoretically. And with this, we have Thrall just sitting at the side here and waiting for a chance to maybe connect the Wolf and a bit of damage. And they're coming in for Jimmy. Stun is there. And Machko might have been the smarter target. Varian was very, very low, and they could have potentially gotten another kill. Nice stacks, by the way, for Arian. So he's already sitting at 4 stacks here. Gets some nice work done. And yeah, is still playing around that fairly well. The red team also not really willing to give him any big opportunities, so they're already moving away, trying for Imperius, who gets caught, and Itrax has absolutely no chance. He's the first one that falls. First blood right there. Was trying to escape to the bottom, the top, the right, and wherever he went, he was just blocked out and had no opportunity to escape. So Imperius is gone. Each team takes a mercenary camp. Machko gets attacked. Starting to slowly move away here. There's this little Billy Mount. And Li Ming starting things off with Power Hungry. So, yep, gets Power Hungry on level 1. And top side, we have now Jimmy getting himself a few more stacks. Arian is already sitting at 7 stacks, so it's not really that bad. Especially when we're later on looking onto the objective and the fight there. You should be able to stack this a little bit faster. It's always a question of positioning. You need somebody to at least assist you if you need to get the hell out of there. And he just doesn't have any escape tools outside of using a penetrating round to create a little bit more space for himself. So that's one of the problems that Jimmy generally faces. With all of the CC tools that we have for the Nameless Kings, this could very well turn into a massive problem for him. But we have a 2-3 split now on the map. So not that typical, but there's obviously always the idea that you deny your opponent as many stacks as you can. On the one hand, we're talking about Jimmy. On the other side, we're talking about Cassia with her level 1 choice. So yeah, that's another one. But at this point, we have also Frostwolf Pack taken by Thrall with level 4. Taunt is ready. The Owl coming cross screen, just checking out real quickly if the camp is really getting claimed. Jimmy has now followed this up with Fight or Flight, so we don't get the Behemoth armor here. For additional stacks, it's all centered around the single target damage with the level 1 talent. And just like sleep dart shenanigans from Anna from start to finish. And Bronek gets caught here. This might be the end of Anna. They want her and they get her. Anna gets eliminated. Granny is gone. That's 2 kills to 0 now for the Nameless Kings. Nicely done. And of course, they now have a quick shot at the first objective. With Tyrande sitting here and being able to use the Hunter's Mark for a bit of extra DPS is even more of a problem. But Varian might have gone too deep too, so Machko attempting to get out and gets murdered. He buys some time for the team to get immortal damage in, but this should be quickly... this should quickly turn. There's 3 kills to 0 now, and a bit of a lead in experience, of course, as well. So they are guarding their own immortal, while Cassia is still dishing out damage down at the bottom of the map. Li Ming could try and go for another combo. Misses it, though. Was attempting to anticipate where they would be headed next. The halftime show still very, very close, now that we have a commitment from Rospierdoll. And at the end of the day, it's still the blue team that is able to at least win the halftime show. But given how the fights have gone so far, there's every chance in the world that the Kings are now trying to turn it. But first, they are attempting to defend. They move in with Thrall, get the Wolf connected, but Thrall gets killed and loses all of his level 4 stacks. Finally, a kill for Rospierdoll. They're hoping for more with extra Itrax attempting a connect, but he can't quite pull off. Yeah, but Anna also with another sleep dart. They're taunting Uther. Oh, and the follow-up missed. Atrax loses the lunge, and now Anna is gone in the back. They are about to win the objective, though, so if they can get a bit more damage in here, then they might still get the first objective of the game. Machko dies. They went hard for Varian, and Atrax has to retreat, but as I said before, that Immortal is really, really low. So there's a chance for them to make a play for it now. Even though we have over on the right side Cassia doing her best to not only reduce the shield but actually win the objective for them. So shots are still fired. We have combos unleashed from Li Ming. She wants the next one. And Morenas eats most of it. Eats most of the damage but still can't prevent it from happening. So the objective indeed goes to the blue team. They are the ones that take the first objective of the game. Both now on level 7. And we do not get Calamity. Instead, Li Ming coming in with Seeker. That allows her, of course, with more single target damage also on the objective itself. So this is definitely going to help a little bit later on if you are trying to take the Immortal. 18 stacks for Jimmy after the first objective. It was a pretty scrappy battle with the early kills that we got there. And for the red team, a bit annoying. They got all the early kills but weren't able to get the Immortal. They can now defend extremely well here on the other hand. Taking this down with ease. Not even the wall has fully fallen. One of the towers still standing. Here comes the CC chain again. But Uther gets murdered. Uther gone. And that is the main tank eliminated with that double support strategy that they're executing. There's also some of the sustain, of course, gone, which would allow, maybe, the blue team to get a bit more headway here. They are slightly behind in experience, but not by too much. 25 stacks now for Jimmy. And Arian is really starting to get those stacks together quickly. He is not top damage yet, but his damage output and the damage output from Li Ming, I should add, are both very much so ahead of anything that the Nameless Kings have been able to put out so far. So the two of them are doing well here. Bot lane still controlled, but it's apparently that constant battle at the top that is continuing. Right now, they're making a move for the next kill here. Li Ming escapes. Jimmy very low, and at least the combos that we're getting from Lavakal are helping out with this. Everybody wanted to go for the camp, and it seems like the blue team for now is letting... are they letting this go? I'm actually not so sure anymore. With Lavakal now re-engaging, this could very well be a commitment, but the red team claims it. So now we have Lavakal up at the front, gets stunned out once again. And the quest completed for Varian as he slowly retreats here. Urel is now moving towards the top 2, starting to help the team out. But they have the camp and can try and damage the wall a little bit. The problem is also more that you have gotten the extra experience, and that's level 10 abilities now in their hands. So with that extra XP, we have level 10 quickly for the red team, which would give them the halftime show here. Rospit Doll should catch up really soon, especially with Varian waiting up at the top for the next minion wave and dealing already with the mercenaries. So they get their heroic abilities just in time to potentially force the fight on the objective. No big surprises when we're talking about ults. We have the Angelic Armament for Imperius, something to point out here. These days we get Hyperion way more than Reyna's Raider, so that isn't too much out of the norm. Once again, Jimmy with just one attack after another, and good stacking and damage output from him. But still has to be very careful with his positioning. The quest on Thrall's side has been completed, so he's YOLOing out those wolves like they're hotcakes. 5 kills to 2, and the taunt and the insta-attack, but the Divine Shield and Earthquake saving Thrall as the blue team is retreating, but Varian low dashes over to Reyna. Urel is coming in on the other hand and is not able to get the kill. Oh my god, they were waiting for their cooldowns here and just couldn't make it happen. So no kill for the red team. They did a great job here, but they weren't able to get the kills. We have 45 stacks for Cassia at this point, so she's also doing pretty okay. But they weren't able to get that oh so important kill after they used essentially all of their ults. Now Varian is moving in again. Has to be careful. Went a bit too deep and Cassia comes in and punishes him. Varian is gone. The Kings starting to take control down here. One stun after another on Imperius. They're trying to defend here, and yeah, the lockdown. Oh, that turned on Thrall. Yeah, that does well for them. Thrall gets taken and eliminated. Job well done. Yep, really, really well done here. Thrall went a little bit too deep, gets punished. Now they're trying to go for Li Ming. 13 hit points. Oh my god. 13 hit points on Li Ming. She nearly gets blown to Kingdom Come. 32,000 damage for Cassia now. Uther dying. Cassia with top-notch damage here, and the same also for Thrall, who's sitting at 27,000. He's nearly on the same numbers that we're seeing for Jimmy. 4 kills to 6, and now we have Rospiedol with the Immortal halftime show taken. So they have a chance of getting another objective here. For the red team is ahead in kills by now, but they are chasing the Immortal, and this is going to be a tall order. Yeah, saving this is not going to happen. The blue team will win another Immortal. They are able to claim this, but the game is still mega close. I mean, they are basically on the same experience right now. They engage again, and they try to take Imperius down and scratch the try, because they definitely did. Imperius is gone, and now this should make their defense just so much easier. It's a 5 versus 4 on the map, and obviously the Kings also are closing in on level 13 talents, which would give them another boost for the objective at hand. Morena's attack though. Varian was looking for an engage with a slow, couldn't. 41 stacks by now for Jimmy. So Jimmy is getting pretty big numbers here. We're only 10 minutes into the game, and with 42 stacks for him, he's doing extremely well here. So as the game continues, Jimmy is going to become more and more of a factor when we're talking about the single target damage. Cassia is sitting at 57 stacks herself, so those are the two that are playing the most around late game scaling. But overall, when we're looking at the teams, there is still the factor of the experience advantage that the Nameless Kings are currently running here. And if you're looking at the experience distribution, this comes partly through the extra hero experience, but to a large part also the minion experience just in general. So they did well there. Li Ming now with glass cannon, so really going for it. They're going for all out damage with her, trying to make sure that Lavakal stays safe. Keep in mind, he escaped earlier with 13 hit points. With glass cannon, that would be a guaranteed death. But as long as they connect the combos and keep Lavakal in the back, this can help them. The whole idea with the build that we're seeing from Lavakal is to stay away from the opponent anyways and maybe just focus on the Immortal instead. So there is potential for them to make this work. There's little that can be done in order to jump in aggressively and get close to Li Ming. Uther though wants to stun. Li Ming already moving away. The fort is gone. Hyperion was on point. Jimmy gets attacked and there's no way. He can get some stacks, but he should die here. And he is gonna die. Got a few more connects though, and a bit of extra damage out, but he's not the only one to fall. Uther dies. Itrax gets crushed. That's a 2-for-1 trade after Rospierdol took out the fort. 9 kills to 5, all in all. And now with a numbers advantage for quite a bit of time. They are probably not going to be able to take that camp, but they might be able to take the wall at the top with the help of the mercenary camp that they have already pushing. And the Immortal is now coming up, so this is going to be a fairly even battle on the objective again. So far we have seen 2 won by the blue team, and this is going to be a pretty exciting one as well. 60 stacks for Cassia, which translates directly into 40,000 damage. Li Ming is currently the top dog over here, thanks of course also to her build, but needs to be very careful. It gets chased around these fights hard. Machko, talking about being chased, in trouble. They dove underneath the fort. The target priority since the last patch, of course, very different. Allows them, with the wave still pushing, for a lot of safety, and they're going for a massively aggressive plays here. Double lunge connect, but the fort is gone, and if they don't get a kill here, then this is going to be a bit dicey, as it's still a numbers advantage for the Kings, and they have a level 16 talent, which is of course another huge advantage for the next battle. Only Li Ming hasn't died so far. They try for Thrall, but he's able to connect the Wolf and retreat. And now they are essentially safe to go for the objective. The level 16 talents are available. That gives us the synergy for Thrall with his level 4 talent as he connects Alpha Wolf. Maybe even the invade over here. Thrall wants it. Earthquake, Divine Shield. They're going for it. They're trying to take it. Jimmy is gone. Reyna eliminated. They will steal the camp, but they might also get another kill. They try for Imperius. Are not able to take him down. The camp still being fought for, by the way. But the blue team is just taking too much damage here. And oh my god, that Cassia damage. Yeah, that ult did work for them. So the camp gets indeed stolen. It's a massive wave at the bottom of the map, by the way. Thrall is going to take care of it, I would assume now. But just imagine with that second wave coming in. A little bit more freedom down at the bot lane. Somebody to trigger the Inspire buff on the minions. And boah, that would get them through that wall quickly. Then again, we now have still that talent advantage. 5 versus 5 on the map. That again chased away a bit. But for the blue team, it's a bit annoying. I mean, Rospierdol really has to think about how they want to play this. Are they able to get experience enough to make a fight out of this? It's unlikely. But at least for the defense, they want to, of course, have level 16 talent. So they're taking a mercenary camp to also push the bot lane a bit. Trying to go for Thrall. Starts to dodge this out. And even interrupts the taunt attempt as Yrel flanks in from the side. Again, talent advantage in this battle for the red team, and they're utilizing it immediately to get a kill on Varian. Jimmy on the run. Nice penetrating round by him, but Arian is still low, has to tap the fountain, wants to get a few more hits in against Yrel, even commits to the Hyperion. They go for the lunge on Thrall. Good combo from Li Ming, but they just can't get the kills. They need those resets if they want to have any chance here in these fights, and it's just not looking like it. They're buying themselves time though. Time and experience to get to level 16 and to get Varian back. But the halftime show is already over, and it seems like the objective will be claimed very, very soon. Blue team about to lose Imperius. Anna gets attacked too. Imperius is gone, and Anna makes it out. Ult on Yrel. Still trying to check, okay, who am I going to target? The double support that we have for the Kings are, of course, allowing them also to go a little bit deeper in some of these fights because they have the extra sustain thanks to the 2 healers. The fight for the objective isn't even over yet, but we're going to get level 16 any second. So then, of course, it is even playing field on talents again. Is this going to change something?
I mean, we'll see. We got Bounty Hunter now, which is already going to be very, very nice. And we have Mirror Ball. So for the 2 damage dealers, this is going to be pretty big. If they can capitalize on that, I mean, who knows? They might be able to pull something off here. But Varian is again at the front. Uther is dead, but so is Varian. So they're trading kills again. Jimmy is sitting up at the top. They're trying to come in here to force that battle again. 6 kills to 14 overall. In comes Yrel, jumps in, tries to drive a wedge between them. The objective is already taken, and Jimmy is... Ooh, that was Schrödinger's Jimmy for just a second. You could have thought about him as alive and dead at the same time, all dependent on whether or not Yrel is able to make that last connect and jump. And it turns out he made it. So Jimmy's still alive, and now they have to defend against the Immortal. There's a bit of a defender's advantage with Varian appearing faster. Uther, once that he comes back, has to travel the entire map. But of course, let's not kid ourselves here. This is going to be the fort gone for sure. Fort has no chance. But they can at least burn the Immortal down quickly to ensure that they're not going to lose a keep on top of that. So the shield is gone, and they're getting massive amounts of damage in with all of that single target. Yeah, Thrall is getting some on Imperius, but he simply jumps out. So the wall is not even going to fall here. It's a really good defense. And with 60 stacks for Jimmy and now his level 16 talent, he has a lot of single target damage that he can contribute in these fights. That hasn't really helped them the last few battles to get anything else done. Li Ming, of course, with Glass Cannon also needs to get good damage out, but the problem is that level 20 talent is just so close. So already Lavakal starting the retreat here. Massive combo on Uther, who nearly gets one-shot by this, but they still swarm Varian and take him down. They jumped on him like a bunch of rats and just nibbled him to death. So that's 15 to 6 kills now and level 20 talents, which gives us the Earthen Shield, so a massive upgrade for Thrall already. On top of that, we also have the Shooting Star. Uther, very likely gonna spec into... No, not Redemption. Instead, we get Bulwark. Bulwark and a mad dash for Jimmy. Jimmy is gone. Anna still on the run, but yeah, they instantly use Bulwark to get themselves another kill. Oh my god. Tyrande nearly dying over here. 100 stacks by now for Cassia, 60 stacks still for Jimmy. Damage output is of course reflecting that. 78,000, 79,000 damage for Cassia, but just look what Li Ming, for example, is contributing here. She's at 97,000 damage already. Jimmy with 56k, but the keep is now gone. The Immortal will be spawning in another 22 seconds, and with Imperius annihilated just a few seconds ago, this means immediately that as the objective drops onto the map, the blue team won't even have 5 players here. And to make matters worse, they are still 2 levels away from hitting level 20. So the Kings, with a fantastic performance here, is very likely going to be rewarded with a second point in the series. So Immortal is up, and now they can just go for the damage down here and try and work this one until Imperius is back to business. And at that point, the blue team will have to YOLO. What else are you going to do? Not fight and wait for them to get 100% Immortal 20 minutes into the game? I don't think so. So, yeah. At some point, you just got to go for the battle, and that's where we are now. If Li Ming gets some resets, it's a different story, but that's really what they have to hope for now. Get a good fight, lock some kills in, get the resets for Lavakal, and then just drop them as quickly as you can. It's going to be tough. Especially with the core already being attacked and the shield falling on the blue team side, thanks to the catapult at the bottom of the map. Bulwark already used. There's the Hyperion. Decent damage again from Jimmy. Down here, they go for Machko. Varian might be in trouble. Cassia with the damage. In comes Yrel from the side. The murder flank. And all the death and despair that can be dropped on them. Massive, massive win in that team fight right now. That flank from Yrel was absolutely spot on. Straight into the choke point, into the Starfall. That eliminated 3 heroes. They followed it up with a 4th shortly after that. And now we're going straight for the next victory here for the Kings. They're already on the core. 107,000 damage for Li Ming. She never died, but it didn't really help them in the first place. So unfortunate, but job well done, gotta say. Nameless Kings with another great performance here as they take the second victory with a quick W on Battlefield of Eternity.
Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Infernal Shrines, the third map. The Kings have 2 points already. Quick reminder that this isn't a best of 3 or best of 5. All maps will be played out, and each map represents a point. So for Rospedol, there's nothing really lost here. If they still win on the third map, that's 1 point for them. Yes, the Kings would pull ahead a little bit, but as I explained at the beginning of the match, we have the two on more or less eye level in the standings. So the red team can now just pull ahead a little bit, but with a victory for the blue team here, that would still be limited. So there is a chance for the blue team to get something out of that series. The last battle didn't really work out. Beautiful flank, by the way, from Ural. I mean, in the middle of the choke point and absolutely shutting them down there. That was well done. Now that we're heading into Infernal Shrines, as the draft starts, we have 33 heroes out of the hero pool gone. And of course, on top of that, we now have 6 heroes that will be banned. So this forces you to think at least a little bit outside of the box already. The round robin is the warm-up, so to say, for later, but already we have some great games and some really nice drafts, so already enjoying that quite a bit. But in this case, we get Stitches as a first pick even. I mean, Stitches first pick right away. And on the other hand, Zeratul. Ubi on Zeratul is an absolute monster, so this could definitely hurt, and this could hurt a lot. Curious to see how Rospedol is going to deal with him once that he starts to unleash. But we have Brightwing, so Brightwing also coming in for Stitches. You want some follow-up, obviously. You could go like Straza here, and they do. So we get the Alex Straza combo, which is actually pretty great. You have Infernal Shrines with a lot of globes anyways, but this entire interplay between Hungry for More and Circle of Life is just awesome, so they're going to try and utilize that. We get Mephisto, still a very nice damage dealer for Infernal Shrines too, especially since you normally want to have a mage with a bit of AoE. I guess Jaina and Kalthas are still available, or Fia too, so those are options that the Nameless Kings could spec into if they wanted. But I like the start into the draft already for Rospedol. Ban on Sonya, another one that would be great on Infernal Shrines. And for the Kings, for the Kings is also going to get interesting what Lopaka, for example, is going to pick at the front line. But after we have Stitches, Falstad is, by the way, still available. So if I'm not mistaken, Falstad was not picked. So you could technically try to also take Falstad if you're the blue team and just use Gust after a Gorge to create a little bit more space. Definitely possible. So they might go down that path. Then again, maybe we're seeing that from the Kings. They have already Brightwing. You could go for a very mobile draft here. I mean, the dream would be an Abathur pick. Abathur Zeratul, you know. That would be kind of fun. Highly unlikely in this game, I would assume. But hey, a man can dream. So, we get Mal'Ganis and we get Kalthas. So, they go for the Living Bombs. They go for the Flame Strike over the potential to get Jaina here. So that's not going to happen. Lopaka can also put everybody to sleep pretty quickly. He's not going to have a match up with Deckard Cain in this one. So they're not going to battle this out. But over on the left side now, the final 2 picks. What's happening on the side lane? What do we get as the extra damage? How are they now going to play this one? Well, it is the final map in this series. We get, ooh, Ragnaros and Diva. Okay, interesting. Not what I expected here. Not even a little bit. Ragnaros plus Diva. So we have a very beefy frontline all of a sudden. With the potential for... Is that going to be Lava Wave? If you want to go for Sulfura Smash, you can. After a Hook and Gorge, I suppose you can get Sulfuras in. But they don't have a lot of lockdown beforehand. Falstad for the gas is still being taken. But I have to admit that I didn't think we would see a Ragnaros in this game. Either way, Infernal Shrines, everybody. So let's go. The final map between the Nameless Kings and Rospedol. Game on! Map number 3 in this series, ladies and gentlemen. It is party time. It's time to rock and roll over here and see which team is going to lock in the final point. As expected, we have Machko with Stitches going for Hungry for More.
We have Itrax for the blue team on Ragnaros, Bronic on Alexstrasza, Lavekal on Diva, Arian on Mephisto, and over on the right side, it's Lopak on Mal'Ganis. For the Kings, we got Morenas on Falstad, Scorch on Brightwing, Ubi with Zeratul, and then, of course, yeah, Miriala on Keltas. So, on level 1, I mean, first of all, as expected, Circle of Life, duh, that was a given. We now have the Engulfing Flame for Ragnaros, and he is a bit of an X-Factor for this particular one. So, we'll see how this is going to work out as we're heading into the mid and late game. Also, what his level 10 choice is going to be. The idea is to follow up on potential Gorges with a quick Sulfura smash, or if they're more thinking about trying to control parts of the macro game as they're playing this out. So technically both of those are options for them, but we'll see. I mean, either way, at this point in time, it's just a bit of an easy rotation. The idea, of course, being that especially Alexstrasza, but also Stitches are starting to accumulate a couple of stacks on her level 1 talent. This is going to be the most crucial for them as we continue with this. Down at the bottom of the map, we're having for now at least the next camp claimed by the blue team. They're going for the neutral one first. And every camp that they, of course, lock in at this point is going to help them pretty significantly, making sure that they are getting the quest completed as quickly as possible and can then rely on Alexstrasza spawning the extra globes for the team. So that's the whole idea here. Ragnaros is the first one to fall though, so he gets targeted and eliminated quickly. 4 stacks for Stitches and 4 Alexstrasza. This could actually be a pretty prolonged game. I mean, with the trade on Ragnaros, you have always an opportunity to try and protect your forts and keeps a bit more and make it difficult for the opponent to take anything down. If you slow the game like this, you might give some extra time to Stitches to get proper stacks together too, which then of course results in him getting more and more hit point heavy and really doing some work on this. But jumping ahead a bit here, the red team is going to try and shut them down early, and as you can tell, Alexstrasza becomes a victim more or less immediately. So this is already a bit of a problem. Having the global mobility of Falstad definitely assists them with plays like this as they steal the opponent's camp away and get a second kill. That's 2 kills to 0 now, and also an advantage in experience that they're already running. And, well, that's a big deal. For the first objective, it could translate into an early level 7 talent, which of course is going to be quite nice if you can go for an easy first Punisher. Also, 9 stacks on the globes for Kelthas. So, when it comes to globe stacks, I gotta say, if you're comparing the globe talents on the red team side with the ones over on the blue team side, there's a clear winner here. Alexstrasza is still sitting at only 6, which is definitely not enough. Stitches at least at 8, but I gotta say, the Kings are faring better here. They're also hyper aggressive with their positioning. They want to go into the fight at the top left. Alexstrasza pops the Dragon Queen. They get their camp. Or at least I thought so. And then we have Lopaka moving in. He might actually pay for that audacity. He thought that he could just simply move in and steal it away as he puts everyone to sleep. But, well, that's the first one to fall on the red team side. So a bit too eager as he tried to make the sneaky play. And the timing couldn't be worse. So now Mal'Ganis is gone as they are moving in for their camp. It also means, obviously, that the Nameless Kings didn't take their own Shaman camp, so they still have to deal with the one at the top before they're making any kind of play down here at the bottom. The good news is that it's early in the game, so death timers are low, and Mal'Ganis is back. And level 7, as expected, is in for them very, very quickly. So, there it is. Double kill. Yeah, Ragnaros dead, Alexstrasza dead. That's 2 kills. They're going for the next. They try and take Mephisto out, and he's dropped too. That's rough. You have 31 stacks already, and this is just massive. I mean, honestly, if you're thinking about what's going on here, they are 31 stacks. It looked like they could get the first objective. Now they're losing out on it. With the objective, they would have gotten some additional stacks also for the level 1 talents. Diva now eliminated by Zeratul at the bottom of the map. Stitches is trying in the top to get them at least the objective. Alexstrasza is now helping out too, so more and more are moving in here. And Ragnaros is helping. They are actually claiming it. With Ragnaros committing to the Molten Core, they get the Frozen Punisher. So they committed the trade and the big cooldown which they would have to use anyways if they need to defend here, and are able to get that, with Alexstrasza getting thankfully now also closer to a completion of the level 1 quest. So there's quite a bit going on here all of a sudden. Maybe a chance for Rosperdol after all, but I gotta say that this early game was pretty rough for them, and still is, given how far behind in experience they are. And Alexstrasza being continually farmed here is certainly not helping their chances. The whole idea of this draft is that you are getting Alexstrasza to a completed level 1 quest quickly, and then assist Stitches to get a massive amount of stacks that he becomes more or less unkillable, and becomes this unbelievable force in teamfights that you just can't get past. And instead, Alexstrasza just gets farmed, with Zeratul in particular just crushing it. And this is what we expected from Ubi. There's a reason why Ubi Zeratul is oftentimes even banned out, and this is because he is an absolute monster on that hero. Now he has Might of the Nerazim and the added mobility, a bit low in hit points at the top, but down in the bottom of the map, Ragnaros now falls. Alexstrasza is there, and could potentially now finally pick up the last few regeneration globes that they need. Kel'Thas specking on level 10 into Pyroblast, by the way. And we get Dark Conversion for Mal'Ganis. They could combo that, of course, too. But yeah, this is gonna get a bit wild. Here's the quest completed at the 6-minute mark. Finally. So, yeah. This is where it's going to get very, very interesting now. Is this enough to bring them back? First, they're 1.5 levels behind already. They don't even level 10 yet. But is this maybe the moment where they can start to slowly turn it by continuously getting themselves the globes, making Stitches faster, making him more dangerous, making him harder to kill, more hit points, more regeneration through Devour. I mean, level 10 abilities are going to shake this up a bit, but they might even lose more heroes before this even becomes a thing. So once again, we have Stitches picking up another globe, sitting at 20 now. Extra movement speed for him too. They keep him alive. Hook on Mal'Ganis. Now he gets out, but we'll see if they can do more. Ragnaros has not chosen yet. We got Consume Soul, and Ragnaros goes Lava Wave. We got a Lava Wave, baby. Alright. Lava Wave is in the house, so they're going for some control here. I mean, at this point, if you're playing Lava Wave with Ragnaros, now that the patch has dropped, we of course have the minion wave spawn at the full minute and half minutes, every 30 seconds and then to the full minute, which makes it also a bit easier for Ragnaros to time the wave and make sure that he gets mad value out of this. But they can control the macro game to an extent now and need to try and pull that off. Stitch is now at 24 stacks, so this is another big factor and will be. The longer this lasts, the better for Stitches, as long as Alexstrasza is able to feed him additional globes. Stitches again getting attacked here. He's gonna grab himself another globe, and for the rest of the team too. 25 now. And they're trying again for Mal'Ganis. There's the Gorge, but Gust against Stitches, and Lopaka should be able to get away here. Another globe already taken. The heals are in. Atrax. Yes, the heal with the ult from Alexstrasza. And talking about ults, Mephisto throws his one out as well. They try for the birdie, and Falstad seems like he's going to be able to get away here. Yeah, Falstad gets away. Pyroblast, and there's the kill. 18 hit points, and then the Pyro connects. There's no kill like overkill. 9 kills to 1, level 13 talent advantage still. Another hook, and it doesn't matter. D.Va gets still eliminated. They try to get Zeratul, but they just couldn't. 1 kill is all that they were able to manage so far in this game. That was the kill against Mal'Ganis at the top left. The lava wave comes out, drops the first minion wave, and the second one is about to spawn. Will just spawn in time here for the lava wave to take it out as well. So a little bit more experience already claimed, and that is going to help with the bot lane control. So no fort has fallen yet. The big issue is really the gap in experience. Stitches has 31 stacks, half a level, and he has the extension on the hook range. So this is going to help him out too. And they keep feeding him the globes here. So that's the good news. Globe after globe for Stitches, and he is going to become a bigger and bigger force in this game as things continue. But the question still remains, is this really going to change anything? It's always nice and cute when you have that advantage, And it can be very, very helpful. But is that really going to be enough? First, they need their level 13 talent, and Zeratul in particular is just going to absolutely murder everything here. Lavakal still... No, he dies. He dies. The ult of Alexstrasza was not enough. Now she herself gets eliminated too. And it's just Farmville. 12 kills to 1. 15 to finally 13, I guess. The objective is, by the way, up at the top, but hasn't been started up yet. So Kelthas is the one that could potentially start here. Forts will fall now soon. Pyroblast, and yeah. Playing out also with the defense. Ragnaros gets taken on and eliminated though, so yeah, that helped. Falset is already down at the bottom of the map trying to get the minions in together with the Inspire buff to take out a fort. And the Kings are just a little bit too strong here. The Kings are, especially in team fights, just on the same page. Going for the same target. Ubi all over the place. Gets the assists from the team. Now they're diving to get Arian, and he's dead too. Zeratul is just an absolute menace. He's a menace. They have a level 16 talent advantage now. Machko is gobbling him up, and they get him at least in range, but there's no way that they can get a kill on Zeratul here. Instead, they're just delivering him a bit closer to his next victim. Even here, Ubi is just dashing out. And for example, Falstad didn't even bother joining. It's just like, yeah, guys, I'm just gonna get the bottom fort. Thank you. So he gets the bottom fort. They got 35 stacks towards the objective already. Itrax gets attacked. Hook against Lopaka. Could still go for his ult, by the way, if he feels that he's a bit close to dying. And is just whipping around here. Just absolutely crushing it with those Fell Claws now. So Lopaka trying to tee the team up with another sleep. We have 40 stacks now for Stitches, so 15% extra movement speed. By the way, that seems to be capped at 160 stacks. This is when you don't get any additional movement speed anymore, if I remember that correctly. Lucy actually talked about this yesterday, at which point he's going to hit the certain threshold, but there is a cap for him, which we've never seen reached. So I don't think we ever will. But technically there is still a cap when he hits max speed. Lopaka a little bit low, and doesn't even use his ult. They get Mephisto, they get Diva. It's 16 kills to 1. Stitches is now dead as well, and they're just crushing them. They go through the blue team like hot butter through cheese. Alexstrasza killed 2, 18 kills to 1. That doesn't even account for the objective that they haven't taken yet, but essentially already more or less claim with 35 out of the 40 stacks that they need. The fort in the middle gets destroyed. It's a 4-level gap, 4 to 3 level gap between the two teams now, and it's just crazy. I mean, these two alone are just aggressively playing time and time again the hunters in the game, with Brightwing jumping in. That's another kill. That's Ragnaros gone again. 6 deaths on Alexstrasza, 5 on Ragnaros. The push at the top is already happening, and they're just murdering them. It's Heroes of the Storm Whack-A-Mole. See a hero, kill a hero. Every single time that somebody pops their head up, they get instantly attacked. Zeratul in particular has now 50,000 damage and is the top damage dealer in the game. Ubi is just using it as a bit of a showcase for his skills, and he gets the assists from Mal'Ganis with his setup and the rest. But that's a 4-level gap between the two teams right now, and of course a talent advantage to boot for the Kings. It's ridiculous. Fort at the top is getting eliminated. Falstad is pushing down at the bottom of the map. Top side, they could break through the wall here too. And Zeratul sitting in the middle, could jump onto any lane or just simply push the mid a bit further. They're soon going to have level 20 of course too. We now have Ragnaros just rushing away and trying to escape the best that he can. Stitch is the only one that has only died once. Everybody else is pretty high up there. Ah, well, maybe not necessarily with Mephisto, who has died 3 times, but still, that's bad enough as it is. And level 20 is now going to be ready in just a moment. That's why the blue team is trying to force a bit of a fight. But even that is going to be a big ask. So yeah, Machko in some trouble. We now have also Epic Mount over on the side of Falstad. We get Shadow Mending for even more sustain at this point from Zeratul. And Flame Strike from Kelthas as they are starting to push for the bottom of the map. 4-level gap still. The experience gain here, crazy. There's the Fly and the Gust. They want the kills, can't get them. The Lava Wave. That was some decent damage for a Lava Wave, I gotta say. When it comes to Lava Wave value, that wasn't too shabby. Hook needs to be dodged by Ubi, but they're still fine here. The blue team is attempting to push out, though. I mean, they're trying something. They have to do something here. And it's all a Hail Mary play. So they are hoping that they're going to get some value from this. But there's the play straight up for the middle. Pyro! Yeah, the heal. Saving Arian. So not a lot of use out of Kel'Thuz's ult, but can they get a kill here? Lavakal is dead. That's Diva gone. They're trying for Lopaka. That didn't work out. Dragon Queen utilized, but they still are not able to get themselves another kill. Maybe now. Ubi in trouble. Gets saved, but what about the Fruit Fly? Brightwing is a bit low, and it just doesn't matter. They can't get that second kill, it seems. The hooks are not connecting the way that they need to. RAGNAROS is trying his best. Stitches now, 55 stacks. Again, looking strong. It's really difficult to kill him here. Right now, he has some massive, massive hit point advantages already. Sitting at nearly 1,500 extra hit points and 20% additional movement speed through that level 1 quest. But, of course, considering the way this game is going, this doesn't do anything for them. The best chance for the blue team is to just play defense, wait until they have level 20, and then do their thing. Stitches at least is pulverized now. That helps a little bit because it slows also Zeratul down whenever he comes in. But, of course, the red team is just trying to farm kills, and they get another one. RAGNAROS doesn't stand a chance. Raid boss my ass. Dead within a second. Ubi absolutely aware of what's going on and what the potential risks are. So every single time that one of these hooks flies in, he is already expecting it and just dashes out. Stitches now with 60 stacks. Gets another one here. So he eats those up time and time again. Good hit points. Hard to kill. Devour. Mad value for him. But the next shrine is activating. And Kel'Thuz is already on the point. With the top easily defended, I suppose. There's also some extra lava waves ready for RAGNAROS, so he still can help them so that they don't lose any keeps to minion waves. And once that we're looking at level 20, he's going to likely go for the second charge here. Actually, not necessarily. He might just go submerged, considering how he is being attacked over and over again by Zeratul. So survivability might actually key for RAGNAROS. For now, they try to go for Lopaka. Arcane Punisher's already been taken. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Lopaka is like, I'm out of here, and you can't do anything about it. Absolutely nothing. Alexstrasza is dropping one circle after another for Stitches. He's now at 65. So he's really getting up there. I mean, his numbers are solid. It's just that it doesn't matter. The draft is not working for them. Here comes the defense from RAGNAROS again. So they're using not only the lava wave, but also the trade to try and take this out. Zeratul came in immediately trying to drop him and does tons of work here. Pyroblast has been thrown out. The ult of Alexstrasza saved them earlier, but that's now... Falstad gone. Falstad finally killed for them. RAGNAROS is eliminated too, but they still are about to get that keep. Zeratul is dead as well. Stitches with the Zeratul kill at the top as they drop Falstad first. So they are actually... they might even get another one. Look at this. Hook against Kel'Thuz. That might not be too bad. They're going to get pulverized back, I suppose. Bronick is about to die then again. So that's a problem. But they go for the Fruit Fly. And can they get a kill here? I don't think so. Arian is low, but is able to escape. Should probably retreat to the Nexus. But the team is on the run. Fruit Fly still alive. And they put Stitches to sleep here. 24 kills against 3, but all of a sudden they're on level 20. They're on level 20. They now have Hungry Stitches. 69 stacks, 4 Stitches. Nice. And we got over on side Ritual of Life. Oh, as the kids say these days, 6-7. Dumbest meme in the universe. Then again, to be fair, some of the shit that we had when I was still in school, my parents were also just shaking their head. So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, 72 stacks right now for Stitches. He's a monster. We got heroic difficulty, actually, for RAGNAROS. Alright. I mean, I'm honestly a little bit surprised by that choice. I really thought they would go down a different path with him. But they got a few kills in the last fight. And, I mean, who knows? That would be an insane comeback. They lost one keep. Topside fort for the Nameless Kings has been destroyed too, by the way. Falstad again, looking for the Gust. Can't go for Diva here. It's kind of funny, though, that with the 4-level gap that we had earlier, we now all of a sudden have the Nameless Kings not as much in the lead anymore by the blue team simply reaching level 20. And you can tell that they are way more confident all of a sudden. They will probably fight for the next objective and see what they can pull off here. Falstad is still running the bot lane with the epic mount advantage that they have. But having the extra lava wave is, of course, going to shut that down whenever Ragnaros wants. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that Ragnaros hasn't gone for lava wave here yet. Okay, so there it comes. It's going to get good value out of this. But Zeratul and Falstad are starting to go for the core. And the two of them are doing work here. Yeah, that core is falling. They're stopping them from hearthing. Stitches went and gobbled everybody up that he could find. And it seems like the Kings are just going to win it this way. Little bit anticlimactic, to be honest with you. I expected that we at least get some level 20 fights, but the Kings, they show no mercy. They come in and take the series with a 3-0. GG.